Thanks for joining me today. It's been a while since I've had a last video released, and I hear that you all want to know how to make dough, so I thought I would share with you a recipe I'm very well known for, which is the Moosehead beer pizza dough recipe. Get asked a lot of questions. How did the beer get in the dough? Beer. The answer is it was in the fridge. It was in the fridge at home when there was a contest going on for looking for Canada's Best Pizza Chef 2005. And so I put beer in the dough. I'm just going to recreate that here for you. So here in this container, this liquid, I have 3/4 cup of Moosehead beer and half a cup of water. And to it, I am adding sea salt and sugar, a teaspoon of each. And I'm just going to mix that up, dissolve it. Now to that, I'm going to add yeast. So this is a professional fresh yeast. If you cannot get this, the little packets of Fleischmann's yeast work great with this recipe. One package is 8 grams, so it's perfectly portioned for you. Now the reason why I put my sea salt sugar into the liquid first is because salt is toxic to yeast. And when you add salt after you add yeast, what you're doing is you're killing your yeast off. Your yeast is actually what eats the proteins and the sugars and the flour in the beer, and it develops the flavor as long as you allow it the time to. And so the last thing you want to do is kill off a very important ingredient that actually gives your pizza dough life and porosity and great flavor. So here I have 3 cups of flour. It's a unbleached flour, and I'm just going to start mixing this by hand with this fancy gadget. And you can make this at home in a mixer, a stand mixer. Keep in mind that pizza dough is very heavy compared to bread dough, and so a lot of stand mixers are very beautiful, but they're not meant for a heavy duty work like pizza dough. Now I'm going to just start working it with my hands. Careful now, I brought my natural nails out today. And if it's too much for you, even though I've washed them thoroughly, if they're too much, then please just look away. And if you're going to use a stand mixer, also be careful not to over mix your dough. It's not so easy to over mix dough when you're mixing it by hand, but when you're using an electric mixer, it's very easy to go overboard, and the more you mix it after it's fully incorporated, the tougher your pizza crust will be, which isn't very good. But here we go. You can see how it's all coming together. And if you were here, you'd be able to smell the beer, smell the yeast, smell all these wonderful smells. And I'm just going to add just a tiny bit more beer to that. So a good indication that your dough is done when the sides of the bowl come clean. I'm just going to work it on the table here. There we go. So it's nicely formed. Now the last thing I want to do is add olive oil. So this is a tablespoon of olive oil. I wanted to make sure that all of the ingredients were fully mixed before I put the olive oil in. And I choose to use olive oil in all of my pizza dough recipes because olive oil is going to give your dough that authentic Italian bread flavor, and it's unmistakable. And so it's a very distinctive taste, just like the beer, just like the Moosehead beer that I chose to use. It's a very distinctive taste. The flavor bakes in. All the alcohol bakes out, but the flavor bakes in. So if you are wanting to recreate the recipe at home and you don't have Moosehead beer, choose some kind of a lager or some kind of distinctive beer taste. If you have a light beer or just a regular beer, just drink the beer and put water in with your pizza dough. Just enjoy the beer that way. This actually makes 2 medium-sized dough balls. I'm just going to eyeball that for separating it. And then one of the last parts is I'm going to roll it and chuck it. See, the dough is fully mixed, fully incorporated. If I were to continue working it really hard, it would be a very tough and chewy pizza crust. and that's not what we're looking for. Final tips to remember is that this is now unproofed dough. This is not risen, it's not proof. And so you want to either leave this on your counter covered for 3 hours and allow it to rise naturally, or you can put it in your fridge covered for 24 hours. Actually, Moosehead dough is 30-hour proof for the sweet zone. And you're ready to bake. Happy baking!